But in all of this, the biggest security concern for India is Pakistan. China has always stood by Pakistan. I mentioned Operation Sindoor and sharing of real-time intelligence. America under Donald Trump is also wooing Pakistan, wooing Asim Munir also big time. God forbid if another incident happens in Kashmir, we've already said it will be an act of war. Given this geopolitics that's happening vis-a-vis Pakistan being wooed by both China and United States, how difficult is the situation for India?
And let me say two things upfront on it. I do not see Pakistan as a serious challenge for India. India can handle Pakistan several times. And that's point number one. Second, I also don't think that either China or United States will entangle themselves directly in case there is another military confrontation between India and Pakistan. These are kind of projections that these countries sometimes make for their tactical reasons. President Trump is, entertaining Field Marshal Asim Munir because Asim Munir said, President Trump deserves a Nobel Peace Prize. Netanyahu said the same thing. But look at the fact that China is entertaining, engaging, cultivating Shehbaz Sharif, whereas United States is cultivating Asim Munir. So that is also a reflection of domestic politics competition between two people who think which one of them is more smarter, which one is more credible in that sense. So both are in that sense seeking out credibility outside their own country, which is not something that any Indian leader will ever
Right.
try to look for legitimacy outside. So I don't think these kind of posturing that is taking place with China engaging Shehbaz Sharif or President Trump engaging Asim Munir creates any serious challenge. It creates a distraction, it creates an irritation, but it's not a serious challenge for India. And I don't think, other than selling weapons, the United States is interested in doing anything with Pakistan or
Okay.
making it a frontline state for dealing with Iran or Afghanistan. And they will drop Pakistan without blinking an eyelid. I mean, it has happened so many times before. Look at the language Trump was using during his first term vis-a-vis Pakistan, saying that they have taken all our money and told us lies and so on. So, Pakistan understands its worth, and when somebody like President Trump is cultivating them, they are excited. They will do
Right.
that.
Right.
But it's not a long-term issue to deal with. It's a aberration. It's only a transitory mode.
Here with us, Professor Swan Singh from the Center of International Politics at JNU. So thank you so much for joining us. Key takeaway, can China really be trusted? It wants us to go back to Panchsheel. Can we peacefully coexist given our experiences with Galwan and as recently as Operation Sindoor?
There is no doubt invocation of Panchasheel is a reflection of at least the desire to move in that direction of enhancing mutual trust, which was also underlined by Prime Minister's opening remarks that we need to ensure border management through trust. But there are still differences, and there will always be different interpretations, even of Panchsheel. So, for instance, you heard Indian Prime Minister focusing on border issues, saying that we have already achieved disengagement, we need to move forward towards de-escalation, and together we can ensure peace, stability, security, and so on the border. Chinese president, on the other hand, emphasized on the civilizational frame of two being ancient civilizations, and then took it all the way to ensuring global stability, multipolarism, and so on. So their approach to how they wish to engage each other remains different, but there is also no doubt that both sides are openly now underlining the need that they need to work together, resolve their differences. And that was clearly visible also both in the body language and in the speeches. And I'm sure we will see that follow up in the coming sessions that happened today, and of course, sessions that will happen tomorrow. So, intent of resolving issues is there, but that doesn't mean that the serious concerns, you did underline the recent example of China's real-time inputs to Pakistan during the May military confrontation between India and Pakistan. We also have concerns about terrorism. SCO actually is an organization that focuses on energy security and terrorism, extremism, and separatism. So some of those issues will continue to be there. But we are now clearly taking a turn from this constant 5 years of difficult period, and two sides are beginning to explore opportunities, how they can really build consensus on some areas. And I think economic issues will also be significant again to start building the positive spirit on both sides.
But India is a member of Quad, and India is also now it's part of SCO as well. But reaching out and seeing if it can meet China halfway. How will this balancing act between Quad and SCO happen?
That again, I think, was clearly visible in the body language and the language of two leaders meeting, where Chinese leader is trying to project his meeting with Indian Prime Minister, his meeting with other leaders who are visiting Tianjin now, and the whole Shanghai Cooperation Organization as opportunity to build a large alternative platform to deal with challenges that are, of course, shared challenges of all the member states of SCO, and of course also the dialogue partners, 14 dialogue partners and 10 members. They are all facing tariffs. And it looks like Beijing sees this as an opportunity. Beijing sees India's tensions with United States as opportunity. But that's not how India plays it. India wants to still ensure a certain balancing act is maintained. And therefore, for example, the trilateral of Putin, Xi, and Indian Prime Minister Modi is happening on Monday. But we will have to see what kind of body language comes out. The picture, the family picture is also very interesting. You see, it's not that that picture included Prime Minister of India and presidents of China and Russia standing just next to each other. It's very well calibrated. The sense of Indian Prime Minister ensuring a certain amount of distance and autonomy in that sense, not bandwagoning with China, Russia, because they use very different language.
Right.
They have no limits partnership. They talk of de-dollarization. They talk of very different kind of issues. Indian Prime Minister is there to explore opportunities of building developmental partnership with all these nations, particularly with China, which is second largest economy, and can help India in strengthening our own manufacturing sector, particularly, and in providing some of the strategic materials like rare earth materials and magnets and so on, or fertilizers. So India has, open arms to look for developmental partnership, but not, India always says these are forums where India goes and they are non-Western, but they are not anti-Western. So despite all the anxiety in India-US relations, President Trump now saying he's not planning to come to Quad summit also doesn't mean that India will not seek out to ensure that balance, which of course the host China is not trying to ensure that balance. They're trying to build a parallel arrangement where they want to see all these nations coming together and standing up against the United States.
Right.
India's body language is not of that nature so far.
You know, what I also wanted your views on, Professor Swan Singh, you said that India doesn't speak the same language as Russia and China. Yet, Russia's Vladimir Putin gets invited to Alaska and the red carpet is rolled out for him, literally so. Xi Jinping, ups the stake and United States backs down, does not impose the same amount of tariff. The only country suffering at America's hand is India. Where is this really going? Does India need to relook at its strategy?
I think there are also lessons here that President Trump is showcasing. He knows his limitations in bullying the Chinese, which is reaching almost a parallel economy, almost equal to United States economy. Now it has lead in almost 3 dozen sectors of technology over the United States. And therefore, India is at a stage where President Trump thinks he can still browbeat, bully that country because India is not China in that sense. And the fact that we have enormous partnership, enormous stakes in that relationship with the United States. India is a country that doesn't believe in confronting any relationship. So there is a chance here, but I think gradually, because India feels being pushed to the wall, you can see that certain amount of very firm response going from India as well. Two written statements underlined that United States was the country that wanted India to buy Russian oil. And now, as the German newspaper, followed by New York Times, are
Yes.
saying President Trump has tried 4 times to reach out to Indian Prime Minister, and that has not happened so far. So India, if pushed to the wall, can also, firmly act against United States. There is no doubt on it. But that is not the first choice India makes. India wants to take along as many countries together as possible. And therefore, that, I think, last resort option of standing up remains.
Okay.
India stood up against China also. So that's not that option doesn't exist, but India's that's not the favored option for India.
Thanks for staying on. It's the big summit this year.